Hello, everybody. What's up, Jay?
Hey, what's up? It is us on our normal scheduled day, like always.
Yes, yes. So this is what happens when you have a day job: is you cannot maintain. It's so difficult to maintain regular show schedules. You try and produce a weekly talk show while working full time in other places. It's
Yeah,
it's a pain in the butt. Oh my gosh. All right, let's start with some quick hits here, man. Yeah. Superman joined ICE. Fucking, it reminds me of that John Mulaney thing. Is it the John Mulaney bit where he's like, is that Dean Kane?
yeah. Oh, look, someone already noticed your fancy lighting.
Pretty colors. Yes. Not so messy studio tonight. My wife came in here and helped me clean up the studio a little bit, so it doesn't look like absolute garbage tonight.
Crazy.
Which is good. So I got my Lex Luthor cup. We got Grogu and an Eldar Knight and the Mariners thingamajigger, and of course you have Octo Kitty.
Octo Kitty.
Octo Kitty is wonderful. We love you, Octo
Octo
Kitty.
Kitty is
So yeah, what did you make of it? I thought John Oliver's joke about it was funny, where he was like, "Is no one will he doesn't need to wear a mask because no one will recognize him." Yeah,
Yeah, that was good. What a great burn. Like, I don't know. Yeah. I also loved the was it actually ICE? I can't remember, but the which group actually used the Darth Vader scene killing all the
I
rebels
think
at the end of Rogue One.
I think it was ICE. It was either them or CBP, but I mean, yeah.
Yeah. I was like, do you guys not understand that that's like the bad guy?
No, they and
Right.
they did you see the response they said to the John Oliver show? They were like, "He was Anakin. He's a hero." I'm like, shut up.
You know, it's such a cringy like oh god.
Okay. Netflix Consumer Products VP heads to Funko as CEO. Funko hasn't been doing well.
No, because fucking people run out of places to put Funko Pops. You can't just continuously buy Funko Pops.
There's one. There's one. Yeah. You really
Yeah.
do eventually run out of news. I don't know if the Netflix Consumer Product guy is going to do any better as their CEO, but good luck, Funko. You're literally right up the street from my house, and I wish you all the luck in the world. But unfortunately, there's just only so many Funko Pops you can collect.
Yeah,
I knew it
I
was
don't know,
going
but
downhill when I started seeing them at 7-Eleven. Like, I would walk
okay.
into my local 7-Eleven and they would have an end cap of Funko Pops. And I'm like, ooh.
Were they like of tuner cars? Because like 7-Eleven
No,
has like a huge connection with tuner cars.
nope. Just like
No.
various Funko Pops. Like, okay, sure. That's what you want to
Yeah.
get at 7-Eleven. First ever Star Trek Lego set is rumored. That would be neat.
That I was actually surprised that they've never done it before. I was like, wait a second, the first ever? Like you guys have never done the Enterprise Lego set? Like what?
I
Come on.
It actually surprises me as well. Like, I'm actually a little surprised by that.
And I will say this. I have always been very anti Star Trek. Very anti Star
All
Trek.
right, we might need to do that as a topic later tonight. Shit.
But my wife and I we started watching Star Trek Strange New Worlds and we are obsessed with it and we watched every single episode pretty
Okay.
much in like 1 week.
We may have
So
to. I'm gonna put this in the rundown. We may need to come back to Star Trek later today. Okay. Um.
he sucks, by the way. Everyone dies.
Okay. We might need it. That might be worthy of a full topic like that. That legit might be worth it. Next up, Gundam turned 30. All those classic ones are getting old, and I don't like to be reminded of my own mortality. Why would you do that to me, Jay?
I Uh, for some weird reason, it's also popping up that Sailor Moon also turned 30 this year, but then everything I see says that it was released in 1992, and I'm like, that's not 30 then.
No. And again, why would you remind me of my own mortality? Thank you.
Yeah.
I don't need to know about that. I do have a funny Twitter story.
Oh,
So this is actually kind of funny. So I got up this morning and I was doing my normal doom scroll on Twitter, as you do in the morning while you're drinking your coffee. And uh, in my For You page, I get a lot of military people because of the algorithm, right? So people were having discussions about how he's deployed troops into D.C. and then they were comparing it to Baghdad. And this one guy, made a comment about a lion, and there was like this other dude on Twitter says, "Oh, I don't know about a lion." He goes, "But I did get a falcon for $25 when we were in Baghdad in '03." And I clicked the picture that he posts, and oh, I forgot to fix that. Let me fix that in the thingy real quick for this, because I promise it'll be worth it.
Loading. Uh,
Yeah, don't hate when that happens. But do you see this little guy here on the left? I clicked this random person's Twitter thing, and I was like, "Holy crap, random person on Twitter! I am in the background of your photo."
oh my god. Oh my
Wasn't
god.
following the guy, didn't realize who it was. He's the guy in the front here, and he doesn't look like that anymore because we've all obviously aged a lot since 2003. But that little dude on the left right there with the cigarette in his mouth is me. And he says, I replied to his tweet. I was like, "Hey, I recognize that little smoking kid in the background." And he goes, "I can't remember his name, but I remember he was one of the last enlisted at 17 with parents' permission soldiers I met." And I replied, "His name was Specialist Wood, and he was me." And he replied, "Holy shit." So this is how I came up in a random tweet this morning at fucking 5 a.m., 6 a.m. Yeah, that happened this morning. And I was like, well, that's a little rundown memory lane. But I'd never, actually, I'm not going to say never, because it's happened a couple times. But very rarely am I like, oh, look, I'm in someone's random social media post. Especially, this is the first time it was, hey, that's me 22 years ago in someone's random social media post.
I think that's the crazy part. Like at Comic-Con, work was telling me that I was all over their Instagram feed as Jeff the Land Shark.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, holy crap, you're like on like random people's like Instagram accounts as Jeff the Shark. But that was like live. To be able to like see a photo and be like 20 years later, like, holy shit, that's me. That's like pretty impressive.
Yeah, it was, and who knows? It was in the For You feed too, so that's all algorithmically driven. So I don't know how it popped up, but it did. And then we shot a couple DMs back and forth. But yes, I knew him 22 years ago, and there I was. So that was kind of just a funny story. And yep, I think light went through a bottle I had on my back porch and lit my fence on fire.
Yeah. That's how hot it is in Washington.
We're lighting random shit on fire. It happens.
Yeah. See, look in chat. It says the original Mobile Suit Gundam turned 45 last year. Marketing. It's always going to be. I
It's
don't
always
know.
wrong. It's always wrong. All right.
Yeah.
With that, welcome to the Error Code Show for August the 12th. As always, I am Alex the Humanoid. I am joined by my co-conspirator Jay and OctoKitty, which is Jay's co-conspirator. If you want to support the show, if you're watching us on Twitch, you can use your Prime subs. If you have Amazon Prime, as many of you do, you get one free Twitch sub, and you can use that to give us Amazon's money, and we will always take Amazon's money from them. The other way, and it's free, you're not spending money on it. The other free way you can support us, we are on our march to 5,000 subscribers. We're a little over 1,300 right now. So comment, like, subscribe, and share, because that helps us beat the algorithm gods. Over on our YouTube channel, we're trying to hit our next like internal goal of 5,000 subs. And without it that way, that blah, blah, words are hard. With that out of the way, let's jump into our first segment tonight, which I have titled the Epstein Distraction List. Go for it, Jay.
Yeah, let's kick things off with a clandestine move that raised eyebrows south of the border. Donald Trump has issued a secret directive. Is it really secret if everyone knows about it? Anyways, authorizing the Pentagon to use U.S. military force on foreign soil against Latin American drug cartels. Major names targeted include notorious groups such as the MS-13.
Which isn't from
Uh,
Mexico, but continue.
I don't know, which is designated as a terrorist organization. While details of planned operations are murky, the move has sparked strong pushback, especially from Mexico's president, who emphasized cooperation, not invasion, as the shared path forward. So Trump wants the military to take on the cartels, which means the next Call of Duty might just be Operation Taco Tuesday.
That I think that works. In fact, I think that's what they should call the operation. Is Taco Tuesday, because reasons. Um, this is absolutely silly and ridiculous. Um, I you can't beat him that way. Let's just start there. You can't beat him that way. It's not gonna work. Sorry.
Yeah. Honestly, I don't think it's really with the goal of beating them. I think there's so much is being thrown out there that it is to distract us from Jeffrey Epstein.
And we're gonna keep going. He's literally throwing everything against the wall to see what sticks, right? Yeah, invading Mexico. Sure, why not? In fact, I think he should do it next Tuesday. Let's go for it. Go ahead to our next one on our list of things.
Yeah, next up, we're headed to Alaska, which Trump actually got mixed up with Russia. I mean, it's an honest mistake. It's up there. Uh, Trump is slated to meet Putin in Anchorage on August 15th, 2025, marking the first presidential sit down since 2019. This quote, feel out meeting is aimed at exploring prospects of ending the Russia Ukraine war. The White House is downplaying the stakes, calling it more of a listening exercise. But both sides have already initiated diplomatic preparations, including pre summit phone calls between top diplomats. Yeah, Trump and Putin meeting in Alaska. Nothing says like peace talks, like two guys fighting over who gets the last salmon roll.
And the other country involved is just not involved in the talks at all, right? Which I love. I love that.
Any sense?
This again is another one where I'm like, what do you? And the funniest part is his chief negotiator, Steve Witkoff, has already screwed it up, right? Because he had a meeting with the Russians, and then he went back out and put out and leaked all this information about what the Russians were willing to give up. And the Russians came out and said, that's not what we said. So he had to go back to the Russians and be like, all right, what was it you said again? Like, it's the Keystone Cops, right? The other thing we need to remember, and this is where you have to put yourself in Russia's shoes for just 1 minute. We were actively engaged in diplomatic talks with the Iranians when we bombed them, right? So if you're Russia, do you trust a single fucking word coming out of this administration's mouth? Doesn't matter who it is. Like, and they're so mercurial that one day they're like, tariffs, the next day, never mind. Like, he just signed another extension on the China tariffs and all this other stuff. Like, I don't know what the fuck is happening day to day. And longtime viewers of the show will note, we used to do at least a segment a week in the early part of the administration about the nutty stuff they were doing. They have ramped it. They've sped it up. It's like, let's go. We stopped covering it because we couldn't keep up.
It's also just crazy and kind of depressing. I don't think our listeners want to hear us just rant about Trump all the time. I don't know. Hopefully not.
Speaking of the war in Russia and Ukraine, what's next?
Oh God. Well, OctoKitty, there is so much content here. Jesus. Like, why do I have all the talking points? On the economic front, Trump slapped a 50% tariff on Indian goods, combining with the already 25% tariff, additional 25% tariff of Russian oil. Trump held this as a big blow to Moscow's already fragile economy India, meanwhile, is not backing down. Trade talks are still scheduled for later this month, meaning everything is probably going to just be undone or extended or whatever. But as they continue to pursue multifaceted dialogue, stating confidently that the relationship extends beyond trade friction. So Trump's new tariffs on Indian imports is now 50%. At this rate, curry night is going to cost more than a Bitcoin.
Again,
Yeah,
I, I
100%.
I can't keep up with what they're doing.
No one can. I don't.
Like, I get it. He's like, hey, India, you're helping prop up Russia's economy by buying oil from them. So we're going to slap a tariff on you because you keep buying oil from Russia, which they're using to fund their war in Ukraine. And I almost get it. But again, nobody believes him anymore. Right? We didn't cover this one, but it was the whole Wall Street joke, the taco. Trump always chickens out. Right? Because at the end of the day, I don't think anybody buys his stuff anymore. They're like, and as
No.
far as they're concerned, he's a one-term president now. Like, he's gone in 3.5 years, right? They don't care. They'll just wait him out, right? Because even if the Republicans stay in charge, none of them are going to be as nutty as this guy.
Yeah.
All right. Moving on to our last piece of this, the Epstein distraction tour. What are we doing right here at home, Jay?
Yeah. Right here at home, we're trying to stay cool because it is hot in Washington. Oh, I'm sorry. You mean like the country wise? Yes, there is more. As of August 12th, 2025, President Donald Trump has deployed 800 National Guard troops to Washington, D.C., following his declaration as a crime emergency in the city. This is insane. Um, and it also includes federalizing the Metro Police Department, placing it under the control of the Attorney General, and directing the National Guard to assist in law enforcement efforts. Trump's administration justifies this action by citing a need to address rising crime and homelessness. However, official crime statistics indicate that violent crime in DC has actually decreased to a 30-year low. Critics argue that the move is political and may violate the 1973 Home Rule Act, which limits federal investigation and local governance.
Yeah, and that was the thing that let DC become really its own city, right? It was the Home Rule Act, right? They said, okay, you can have a mayor and you can have a city council and you can rule yourselves and not have Congress just run the city. Again, we're not sure where this would violate it because technically he does have the right to do this. This is actually one of the areas where he actually is standing on fairly firm legal ground, except we're not sure what the emergency is. Right? And it's only going to last 7 weeks or 60 days or something like that before Congress has to get involved. They're required to, right? To authorize any further action. And this is all, lest we forget, because former Doge staffer Big Balls got his ass whooped in D.C. over the weekend. Right? I again, this is actually what pushed into the weird Twitter interaction I had this morning. I don't know. Congratulations, you're paying too much money for a bunch of National Guardsmen to stand around and be mad that they're there. Because it sucks. These guys don't want to be standing out in full kit in the middle of the DC heat in August. They don't want to do it, right? What are you doing? I know the National Guard's capability. This is the thing that gets me. I understand the National Guard's capabilities. And there are, like, the National Guard is trained for riot control, right? They're trained for that. They're trained for certain things that they do domestically, right? Fires, rescue operations, riots, civil unrest. None of that's happening, right? The National Guard's not a law enforcement agent. What are you having them do precisely? And they have no arresting powers. They can't do anything, right? Hey, look, that guy's stealing that car. Sucks. Like, I don't know what they're supposed to do, right? Somebody that the Twitch chat's like, National Guard, do you ever wonder why we're here? They will constantly and act. So here's what's going to happen. The first couple weeks, they'll be like, all right, sure, it's a mission and we'll do some stuff. And then they're going to get about 2 weeks in and they're going to be like, can we go home now? Because the other thing that the Army does in these situations, for various reasons, is these guys will be on deep levels of restriction. They will be in the city and won't be allowed to go out anywhere. Right? They'll be stuck in rooms and like sitting, and they will hate their lives. I don't know. What do you think, Jay? Like, what was your first thought on this one?
It's just like so clearly either like a distraction or just prepping for something else that's coming. I don't really know, but like it's like, oh, crime is so bad. And I was like, wait, what? Why is crime that bad? And then it's like, no, it's not. It's at a record 30-year low. And then I was like, what? What are we doing? Like, I don't know.
Well, now he's threatening to do it in Chicago, Baltimore, other cities. The funny thing is they were talking about ones that have really high crime rates that are in red states that he's completely ignoring, like St. Louis and Memphis, which have much higher crime rates than Washington, D.C., but you're not deploying the National Guard there, right? Because it's not about that. It's entirely political, which is what's like completely unsurprising about it. Anyway. Thus ends this short version of the Epstein distraction list, which I'm convinced this is what they're doing. They're just trying to keep the news cycle was so focused on the Epstein thing for so long there for that block. They want to talk about anything else. So they are just doing everything else to make sure that the news cycle cannot swing back. And more importantly, not so much the mainstream media, the social media cycle. Because even when they were not doing it, there was a bunch of like Republican people who were like, yo, dude, we voted for you for transparency. You're supposed to be releasing this shit. And they didn't do it. And they were starting to get irritated. And so they want any other thing to talk about. Put anything else into the cultural zeitgeist that is not the Epstein list, right? Not the fact that we moved Ghislaine Maxwell to a minimum security prison. And oh, by the way, she can get out on furloughs now to go work in town. Oh, and guess what? Everybody dropped the story about, hey, because there was a bunch of reporters digging into who actually signed the order to move her. They were trying to figure it out, and then all this crap happened. And now that story's disappeared for now.
For now. I mean,
I think eventually they're going to run out of distractions. There's only so much shit you can do. Never mind. I take that back. There's always weird shit you can do.
Yeah, my favorite like literature I don't know category is dystopian future. So like I don't know, like you read 1984, Fahrenheit 451, all these books. There's still a lot more that they could do, but it's not pretty.
Yeah.
So
all right, let us know what you think down in the comments below. Yeah. I don't know if, based on everything that's happening, the thing, and this kind of convinced me during the last administration too, I'm not sure this administration's smart enough to pull it off. Like, it was like, Trump wants to be a dictator. They want to do this. I'm like, yeah, I think they want to, but I don't think they know how.
Well, this...
Because everything they do is so fucking ham-fisted.
I feel like they don't know how to do anything. Like every time when Trump like speaks, I'm like, oh God. It's just so stupid, but somehow they're just able to keep stumbling forward somehow.
An object in motion will remain in motion until it is countered by a equal and opposite force, right? You're an engineer.
Yeah, I mean,
did I sum up Newton's first law?
We typically say it differently, but yeah, basically.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm summing it up. This is the political version of Newton's first law. And right now, the progressive wing does not have an equal and opposite force to stop this. They just don't. I am sensing, because there's some stuff coming, that it may happen soonish, right? Um, and I wasn't going to go do a full topic on this, and I don't want to do a full topic on it, but
His cables, it's too much.
No, it's the Obergefell, right? The Supreme Court's going to relook at Obergefell, which was the Supreme Court ruling for the audience that legalized gay marriage in the United States on a federal level. They're relooking at Obergefell. I think that overturning Obergefell, and I've actually now seen a couple of very prominent Republican influencers come out and be like, yo, Daddy Trump, you need to speak out against this now, because if you want to lose all of your elections going forward, overturn Obergefell before the midterms. Like, that's it. Okay? Because even the ones that have kind of fence jumped to Republican, this is an issue that they can't fuck around with. There's too many people, right, that still feel that this is a fundamental right, even in Republican circles, that I think it will turn just enough of the public sentiment completely against them, right? So that may be the opposite force that starts to slow them down. Because I actually do agree with a lot of those Republican influencers. I think it's because right, wrong, or indifferent, if they overturn Obergefell, it's going to get hung completely around the neck of the Trump administration. Right? It's your fucking fault. You know? And that's what's going to happen. So, anyway, let's move on to some happy topics.
Yeah.
Shall we?
Topic.
Okay. This was going to be kind of a bit of a rapid fire one, but let's talk about a bunch of Marvel stuff, because there's been some interesting Marvel stuff going on. First off, I gotta say, the way that they are marketing Brand New Day already is so smart, right? So they turned downtown Glasgow, I think, into New York, right? And I don't know if you've seen these clips, Jay. Have you been seeing these clips floating around? They have got a practical effect version of swinging, of web swinging, with like this big gantry style like thing, and the him and or the stuntman like on wires, like big thing. And they've been letting people watch. That's the thing that I find really interesting. And they're not stopping anybody from filming this. They're not doing any of that. They're being like, yeah, come watch, film. It's great. Look at all this cool stuff we're doing for Spider-Man, right? And got that up in the browser there for a second. You know, I think that this is brilliant early marketing, because this movie is coming out in less than a year, right? So you want to get everybody hyped for this movie? This is really the way to do it, right? What were your thoughts first off on these Spider? I don't want to call them leaks. I don't even think they're leaks. I think they're just letting people put shit out there. Like, yeah, film away. What do you think?
I think it's really smart. Because you're making a movie. You're making a movie already. Why not, like, instead of trying to like hide stuff and be super secretive, and you don't want to give the plot away and all this stuff, like, yeah, kind of promote it. Like, use your scenes to promote the movie that is being made. I mean, yeah, it's already we're a year out and we're already talking about it. I mean, that's marketing working for you right there. Like, there you go.
Unless we forget, the last Spider-Man movie grossed almost $2 billion. It was 90 million shy of $2 billion. 1.9 billion worldwide. That was huge for Marvel and Sony. I
Yeah.
mean, fucking massive for them. And so building the hype early and often and reminding everybody, remember how much you love Spider-Man? You guys love Spider-Man. Spider-Man's great. Um, I think that that's the right play here. Let's talk about our next little Marvel quick hit. Is Ryan Reynolds teasing the fact that he might be in Avengers Doomsday? So he posted this to his Instagram today. It is the anarchy sign over the Avengers symbol. Is he just being cheeky, or do you think he's in Doomsday?
I don't know why he wouldn't be in Doomsday. It's Ryan Reynolds. Everyone loves Ryan Reynolds. Everyone loves Deadpool. Um, yeah, why wouldn't he? I mean, if if he doesn't have like a very, I don't know, important role, he'll probably have like a cameo. I
I
mean,
So see, I'm torn on this. I think that putting him in Doomsday distracts from what you're trying to do in Doomsday,
mm,
right? Because Doomsday has got a. We've talked about this on the show a lot of times. We haven't seen Doom yet. It's not like the Avenger, like the Thanos series, where we were getting hints of Thanos and Thanos this and da da da. We got nothing on Doom,
we
right?
did see
Very
Doom.
little, very little,
Very
right? We don't
maybe.
have the build up like we did for Infinity War. So we don't have 5 different Infinity Stones showing up in various movies over the course of 10 years before we get to Infinity War. Um, I don't know what their thought process is here per se. But putting him in for a cameo just seems kind of like, why bother? Right?
Unless you like kill him off, and then that's his like exit from the MCU. I don't know.
After his entrance last year, he exited very quickly in Doomsday. I
I
don't
don't
know.
know.
I I want to say that he's just being a goof. I think he's just being a goof.
I think we'll see him. I think he'll do like a cameo.
I could
It
see.
wouldn't.
I would
Yeah.
see him more because of his whole Marvel Jesus thing. I think we'd be more likely to see him in Secret Wars, so he could play up the whole Marvel Jesus thing. See, you guys screwed everything up. Now Marvel Jesus has to come save you again. You know, I don't know about Doomsday. I think it's more likely to be Secret Wars, if at all. But because again, I think Doomsday's just got a heavy, heavy lift. Um, Speaking of some box office stuff, Fantastic Four is quietly kind of gaining some ground now. It's up to 437 million, right? So it's now the best grossing Marvel movie of the year, which I think it deserved to be, right?
Yeah.
I think Thunderbolts really kind of got screwed here because I think Thunderbolts was objectively better than Captain America: Brave New World, right?
Yeah. It
Um,
was.
so, but it's quietly climbing the box office. It's now at the number 9 spot box office wise. I don't think it's going to stay there. Um, I don't necessarily think it's going to stay in the top 10 at all. I don't think it's going to have a rough time. But it is, as of right now, the ninth highest grossing movie of the year. So it had a good opening. I think it's had some bad drops, but I think that it's had a lot of kind of consistent midweek box office sales and not a lot coming up against it. Um, I think the big surprise was Weapons and how well Weapons did last weekend, right? Um, but it's I think it's doing okay. I would have liked to see it do a little better, and I think it deserved. And I think how long has it's been in theaters for 3 weeks? Um, where are we at? That's 10. I think I think it can break 500. I think get another 60 million before the end of the summer. What do you think?
I think it could.
It still did 1.8 yesterday on a Monday. You know, Like I think it's got a chance. I would
Yeah.
like to see it hit 500 million. That's kind of my hope for them. Um, so there you go. Um, again, you and I talked about this in our Fantastic Four review. I really think that between Thunderbolts and Fantastic Four, I think Marvel's on an upswing right now.
Yeah. Um, both really great movies. I agree. I think Thunderbolts kind of got fucked a little bit.
I think it
It
got
was a
screwed by how
movie.
bad Captain America was.
Yeah. Um, love Thunderbolts. Love Fantastic Four. Yeah, Marvel's coming out with like A quality stuff right now.
And the next one out is going back to the beginning of this segment, Spider-Man, Brand New Day, right? Which again, last one did 1.9 billion. Let me go back to the history on Spider-Man box office. Why is it showing it that way? Um, how much did Homecoming make? Homecoming did 880. Uh, Far From Home did 1.1 billion. So this is one of those rare situations where every time they make a new movie, they make more money, right? They went from 880 to 1.1 billion to 1.9 billion in the Tom Holland Spider-Man franchise. I think they've got a good shot of if they keep up this marketing and they do it right, I think they got a shot at a 1.5 billion dollar box office on Spidey, you know.
Yeah.
So, all right, folks, what did you think? Have you guys had a chance to see Fantastic Four yet? Have you checked out our review of Fantastic Four? Have you checked out our spoiler talk about Fantastic Four? Let us know down in the comments below. All right. We'll take a quick spot right here to let you guys know. Don't forget, you can put in viewer questions into the chat. If you have anything you want to talk about with us, throw them in the chat. We'll try and get to them at the end of the show. Okay? Because right now, at the end of the show, the only thing we're going to talk about is how Jay doesn't like Star Trek.
I like Star Trek. We said that at the beginning.
No, you said you like Star Trek Brave New World. You said you didn't
Yeah.
like Star Trek. We're going to have a
Yeah.
conversation about the best Star Trek series that was ever made and
Oh,
why, okay? Because Star Trek is Star Trek. But let's move on to our next quick topic tonight. Jay, take us over to the world of video games.
yes, video games. So on Saturday, Battlefield 6 opened beta, peaked with 521,079 players, beating the all-time record held by Call of Duty.
Was that concurrent?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay, so that's concurrent.
I'm pretty
Okay.
sure. Yes. I was one of those players. Ever since, I became older than the age of 12 and I played my first Battlefield game, I always preferred Battlefield over Call of Duty. Sorry, this is my preference. So I did play the beta over the weekend. That's why I have if you see me on Discord, I have my little Battlefield little hat thing that I won, little Discord promotion. But yeah, no, I always loved Battlefield. I don't play video games as much, so I suck right now. It's not like back when I was in high school and I could play video games all the time, working, going to school, having a podcast.
Yep.
Alex is also super demanding of my attention. No, I'm just kidding. But no, so what do you think, Alex? I love Battlefield. I prefer Battlefield over Call of Duty. What are your thoughts?
I have no strong preference of Battlefield over Call of Duty or Call of Duty over Battlefield. If you want to get down into shooters, I was always a Rainbow Six fan. Okay, so
Okay, yeah.
let's put that over there. My curiosity is the last couple outings for Battlefield have not been great, right? And I'm talking even from a technical aspect. They've 2042 and it was broken.
Yep.
5 was not in great shape when it released from a technical standpoint. Do you think that Battlefield 6 with these betas and things like that, do you think that they learned their lesson?
Yeah, I so to clarify, like the last real Battlefield game that I was like obsessed with, I would say is Battlefield 4. I loved that one. Playing the beta over the weekend. I mean, I hope they have. I think they have. This is like one of the things where like you either have to evolve or you're going to die. And I think video games like Battlefield and also Call of Duty are really, really great about analyzing what went well, what didn't go well, evolving for their, their gamer fan base, and
Mm.
then making games that people want to play. Because at the end of the day, like if you make everyone pissed off, you're not going to make a Battlefield 7.
And so the open beta peaking that eye bodes well for them because again, their reputation's not great right now, and I think that this is the other thing the open beta is doing, not only allowing them to test things, but also going, come on guys, come back here, try it for free, right? First hits for free because we
Yeah.
want you to know that we didn't screw it up this time, so you'll actually buy the damn game. Because Battlefield 2042, Battlefield 5 were some of the games that like were pushing people on the no pre-order bandwagon, like stop pre-ordering games, right? Because they released so buggy. Um,
Yeah. Um, they have to fix it, and
do you think they
I
have, based on what you've played?
I think so. I mean, I did to play the beta. I did have to wait. It was kind of crazy when I opened the beta. It was like you're number 11,000, blah blah blah, in the queue waiting to get in, and I was like, oh shit. Okay. I'm gonna go make a drink real quick. But but yeah, it to me like there was nothing wrong when I was playing the beta. Now that's not the entire game. I didn't play, you know, every little aspect of the game, but yeah, to me I didn't see anything that was wrong with the game. Like me being killed and laying on the ground and waiting for a medic to come get me looked great no matter where on the map I was.
Chat's saying some laggy instances were pretty minimal. No real incentive for 6 either. It's a pre-order, it's just a skin, so maybe they're just not relying on pre-orders this time, which would be weird for a modern AAA video game. Um, yeah. If we want to stay on that, the developer of Tron Catalyst just laid off like the majority of their staff. So we've covered a bunch of these in the past. Here's what I don't get. How do these people, they're saying they became redundant. If I owned a game studio and I had people who weren't working actively on whatever like big thing we were doing, I would be putting them in like 4 and 5 person teams. Be like, you four, develop our next idea. You four, develop another idea so that we can have a running slew of game ideas just going all the time. You know, like
Yeah.
I can't you find something else for these people to do?
Evidently not. Yeah, I don't know.
It bugs me. It just bugs me. All right, folks. What do you think? How is Battlefield 6? Do game studios just suck? Or are we finally going to get something good? Let us know what you think in the comments below. Once again, if you guys have any topics for us to talk about, go ahead and throw those into the chat, and we'll try and get down to those at the end of the episode. We want to thank all of our lovely viewers today, both on YouTube and Twitch, for staying with us for this weird Tuesday night show. Jay has another engagement Tuesday or Thursday. I think I have another engagement Thursday, though that one's now a little up in the air. So Thursday was going to be just rough for us this week, and we were like, you know what? Fuck it. Let's do Tuesday. We'll do it live. Oh, wait, we do it live every week.
Yep.
That's what we need, Jay. We need a writer's room. We need to win the lottery so we can hire a writer's room.
Yeah. I if we win the lottery, I think yes, writer's room, but we would also build like an actual studio where you and I would be in the same room.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, we would come out with merch. So like Octo Kitty would have his own like merch line. We would have like topic specific merch. So, Cheeto Man would be featured in this week's merch. I don't know.
Night Never Answers the old Doom engine games. I don't know enough about it to comment. I love the old Doom games. I will say this about old video games, and I'll pose this question to Jay too. Jay, when was the last time you went back and tried to play like an old 8 or 16 bitter? Because
Oh,
I learned something. I
it was
relearned
less than
something.
a year ago. Because I went on this like kind of retro kick where um I played like a slew of games where like I was playing like Ocarina of Time, um what else? The original like Pokemon Game Boy game. I don't know. There was like a laundry list of games where I kind of just went on like a binge of just trying to play my childhood again.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So here's what I'm gonna remind people about those old games because I've downloaded and played a couple in the last couple of months. They're fucking hard, right? Like I was even trying to show them to my daughter, like, look at this game from the Nintendo or the Super Nintendo, dude. Some of them games are fucking rough, right? I'm like, God damn, no wonder it took us so long to be like these games are fucking hard. Games nowadays are so much easier.
I Unless you're playing like Elden Ring.
Yeah, I mean, Souls like games aside, yeah, dude, old games are fucking hard. I forgot how hard some of these games are, especially you get into like Sonic, man. You get into Area 3 and 4, you're like, holy shit, you have to have the level memorized, right? Otherwise, you're gonna hit your jumps wrong. Like it's so much repetition because you're just gonna die all the time. So anyway, throw those ones down in the comments if you guys got anything else. We're going to move on to our next topic tonight. And our next topic has to do with things that you didn't realize still existed. But for those of us, and again, God, we're talking about my mortality again, right? You're all going to remember this.
Are you doing something? Are you farting right now?
You've got mail.
The iconic dial up sound and You've Got Mail. That's right, folks. Into stuff that you did not realize still existed. AOL is ending its dial up internet service. That's right, in the year of our bug, 2025. AOL was still running dial up internet service right now. And they had over 160,000 customers in America that were using dial up internet service. For anybody that grew up in early internet sound days, that dial up noise and the You've Got Mail, it's iconic, okay? It was cultural zeitgeist thing, right? But AOL has announced that they're finally, after 31 years, right? 1994, when their first dial-up had full internet connection, they are finally turning off their dial-up internet service on September 30th. And I know we're kind of joking about this, but in all seriousness, there are many rural places in America where dial-up is still the only way you can get on the internet, right? Because they don't have cable internet and they don't have DSL, they don't have fiber or any of those lines run. Also, what are all the grandmas gonna do? Back to joking. Jay, two questions for you. First off, were you surprised to hear that AOL still had dial-up internet? Because I know I was. And
Yeah.
also, what are your thoughts on them finally killing it?
One, yeah, I was very surprised. And then second, I was surprised at the amount of people that are still on dial up. Like, I don't understand. I always hear like crazy stories about like Spokane, maybe, out there like east of the Cascades, like, people have to use dial up. I don't know. But no. this is this is crazy. I thought this thing died a long time ago.
So
Not
did
gonna lie.
I. So did I. There's a part of me that's kind of happy that it's existed all this time. Again, for the you've got mail and that very iconic AOL instant messenger noise, right? Okay, because that AOL, especially when I was a teenager, oh boy,
Now we got to go help people.
these noises that AOL instant messenger had, right? Oh wait, let's do it again. You're jumping for your thing, looking to see who got on. Oh, somebody got on. Oh yeah, that door open sound. Those IM noises. Okay. Man, that was just a thing. Why would people, again, most people are still using dial-up to answer chat question from YouTube. Because that's all they have. Like, legit, that's all they have out there in some of these really rural areas. Like, that's what they've got. They can still use dial-up internet. So, again, it just blows my mind. I think everybody had AOL. Did you have AOL when you were growing up at all, Jay?
I actually did not. I didn't have so my first computer, it was like 2008.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we were poor. And I was like very much like kind of an athlete growing up. So I started playing soccer second grade. I wasn't allowed to drink soda. I couldn't eat fast food. I couldn't eat junk food that much. It's kind of like a novelty. So I was like kind of
behind the curve.
Now, when I was 14, I got a job, and I think when I was 15, I started buying like my own like console games and everything. So I bought like internet, and I paid for internet like around, I want to say like 16 for like Xbox Live. Literally, that's all it was for. So yeah, I never had like any of this. Yeah.
Back in the olden days, we didn't have AOL. We had BBSs, and everything was dial-up. Oh God. Okay, jeez. Again, for an entire generation of '90s kids, this was absolutely iconic. Again, I'm amused that AOL still exists, and AOL. Whew, they're finally getting rid of it. So that's amazing. We wish you luck in the future, AOL, and to everybody who's losing their internet for the end of dial-up. I'm sorry. Oh yeah, now people are bringing up other ones. Yeah, so AOL was there. Then there was Prodigy, was the other big internet service, and CompuServe, right? And the other thing that was iconic about AOL, and anybody who remembers this, is AOL used to send out discs, right? They would send you discs in the mail, right? And you can still buy them on eBay. Oh, here we go. This is the one I want, because this is the one I remember. They would send this to you in the mail, right? And like, just pop in this disc and you're online, right? And they'd send it, and there'd be like a little flyer in there, because back then you paid for it by the hour. You bought your service by the hour. And so you'd pay a rate, and you'd be like 50 hours a month, and then any hour past that you had to pay an additional charge. And so they'd hit you with these discs, right? That they would just mail out like junk mail, right? Floppy disks, and eventually we figured out how to use them for other stuff. And they would send you these discs in the mail, and you'd be like, cool, 50 free hours, click, you know. And that was how they grabbed you, was these discs. They did eventually upgrade to the CDs, right?
I would get a lot of those for some weird reason. Like, all the time I would get the CD-ROMs.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. 500 hours free on America Online 5.0. Right? Here's your free disc with your 5 hours of free. You've got pictures, instant messenger, Microsoft Internet Explorer 5.0 built in. There you go. So stop. This one's going to go a little longer. There is a part of me that misses that version of the internet. That was the absolute fucking Wild West. And it was new and so different. Right? And I don't know if it's just nostalgia in my head, but I want to say that internet was less toxic. Right? Because I think everybody was just so fucking excited to be there. Right? It was like fucking digital Disneyland. Right? And I wonder if that's just me or if that's like something that other people feel as well. Like the internet back then just wasn't quite as crap. Like, because now it's like, in many ways, we covered here on this show, a toxic fucking wasteland. Right? I mean, what do you think? Do you think it's just progressive? We've taken it for granted now?
I think they actually covered this on the Twitter documentary. I'm pretty sure it was Twitter where they kind of mentioned they noticed like when memes started becoming a thing and like people really like realizing that you could hide behind the internet and you could make very insane, inappropriate jokes that you would never say out loud in your day-to-day life, make a meme out of it, throw it on the internet. And then like thousands of people would laugh and like it and whatever, and it became like a very toxic, like it just kept going and going. Because if I recall correctly, like Twitter had a very like we're not going to take anything down stance. So they just let everything happen. But yeah, so I would say, I mean, I was not a part of this internet that you speak of back in the day. But it does make sense. And based on that like documentary, I would say, yeah, probably a lot less toxic.
I don't know. It's just
you guys also had to wait like an hour for like titties to load, evidently. So
well, you had ASCII art porn, and for those that want to do it, you can go ahead and Google that on your own. I'm not going to put it up on my stream, okay? But ASCII art porn was a thing, right? And if you know what ASCII is, you will understand, right? And that would load real fast. I guess I'm trying to. There was just times that we just didn't use it for that, or you were so used to it that you just didn't care. You know what I mean? Like it just didn't matter, right? And I think some people in the chat are actually Googling it right now and going, "Oh, that." Yeah, I don't know. I find it very interesting.
I will say, so when I was in high school, I had a MySpace, and I would always like have to go to my friend's house to like update my MySpace.
Oh yeah.
And I will say that I do really miss like the MySpace days. Like it seemed so much better than having Facebook on your phone and like what Facebook has evolved into currently. Like I remember when everyone was switching to Facebook and I was like, Facebook sucks. Like I want to just like continue using MySpace. So yeah, I do miss like the MySpace days.
My only complaint about my biggest complaint about MySpace was when I go to somebody's page. And I wouldn't be expecting it. Like you'd load someone's page in, and there would always be that like 3 or 4 second delay, and then all of a sudden you'd get blasted with some song that they had on their playlist right on their MySpace page. You're like, oh my god, what are you listening? Pause! No, stop it! And half the time I was like, what in God's name was that? Okay,
I love it.
Oh god, and some of y'all went a little nuts with your HTML on your MySpace page, and I couldn't read your page anymore. Like, I was just like, the color scheme you've picked has made this completely unreadable. No idea what's happening here.
Yeah. I don't know. I miss it.
I do appreciate the fact that you could customize to that level. I think that's something that's missing from Facebook and Twitter and all those, was that personalization that you could do with MySpace. Because Facebook went all like hyper clean and like very whoosh, white. So
Yeah.
it'll be interesting to see what the next one is. We now have TikTok, right? We've moved to TikTok now, has become one of the dominant ones. I'm curious what the next really big one's going to be after TikTok. That's the one. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm curious what's going to come next. And we've talked about this before. I'm going to stop that segment from recording for real quick, which is the thing that I really think is that TikTok is far less toxic in a lot of ways than Twitter or Facebook is. Because in order for you to be taken seriously, like, TikTok has a comments section, but the comments section is basically there to trap people into saying stupid shit on your page, right? And you're basically not taken seriously if you have an anonymous account. Like, if you run an anon account and you don't put your face out there and you don't do video on TikTok, nobody takes you fucking seriously. You are nothing, right? Your opinion means nothing. You can post as many trolling comments in the comment section as you want. If you don't make videos with your face and your voice, you don't fucking exist on that platform, right? Which unfortunately is something that Twitter doesn't have, because there's still too many anonymous wackos on Twitter. It also, I think, stops TikTok's bot problem, right? Because the bots can't create the content that people are expecting on TikTok. And who cares if there's a bot in your comment section? No one gives a shit. You know? There it is. Why did we move to Tuesday? Because we both had things. Yeah, because we both had things on Thursday. And so we wanted to do a show this week because we had to cancel last week's show. We're sorry. We do like doing the show for y'all. One more time, we'll do a call for questions or any comments in the chat. If you guys want something you want us to talk about, throw it in the chat, either on YouTube or Twitch. Yes, I do watch both chats simultaneously through my little widget. So, either one, you could throw it in there. In the meantime, what do you mean you didn't like Star Trek until Strange New Worlds? What? Back up here. Let's start at the beginning. You were like, I've never been a Star Trek fan. What?
I'm calling it the Doctor Who effect.
Okay.
So let me explain that.
You better, because I'm suddenly concerned.
So my best friend since like the 6th grade, diehard Doctor Who fan.
Huh?
He was like, "You're going to love Doctor Who so much. Like, you're gonna love it. Let me show you." And he started off with this like black and white stuff, like the earliest stuff. And I was like, what is this? This sucks. Sorry, but like, it sucks. Like, same with Star Trek. So I think my dad was like, "Oh, you really like Star Wars? You're probably going to like 2 other shows, Battlestar Galactica," which oddly, for some weird reason, I did like. I don't understand that. And Star Trek. Now, for whatever reason, I would sit there and watch Star Trek, and it just seemed so, like, watching the original Star Wars and then watching the original Star Trek. Star Trek seemed so much more like outdated to me.
So you're talking about the original Trek series. Okay.
The very like William Shatner.
Yep, gotcha.
Like, and I was just like, I'm not into this. Let me go watch Star Wars because, you know, lightsabers and stuff. Sweet. And then I will say, like, this was really funny when the reboot movie series first came out.
The Abrams Trek, right?
I had like a diehard friend that was like, oh, like super Trekkie. He was like, you know, Jay, let's go watch this movie. And that opening scene, right, where he just gets killed, like obliterated, like just it's an epic fight scene. The ship's blowing up. I'm sitting there like, oh my god, like Star Trek is awesome. He's sitting there pissed. He's like, no, this doesn't make sense. Like he is like the inspiration for Kirk to go into the academy. Like he's alive when he becomes a captain, and he's like sitting there like cross-armed and super pissed. And I'm like, this is epic. This is what Star Trek needs to be. So I did like the new movies, but then I didn't know like what TV show to watch. And I kept finding, I guess, like the older ones and being like, this sucks. And then probably like a week ago, we were on Apple or Amazon or something, Strange New Worlds, and I was like, sure, let's try it. First episode, I was like, this is amazing. I love this. And then we just sat there and watched all 3 seasons within a week. And I was like, okay, amazing. So that is my life story
of Star Trek. Okay. So I do think that this does have something to do with age and the time in which you became introduced to Star Trek.
Mm-hmm.
So somebody like you, if I had been your dad, I wouldn't have put you on the original, right? I would have put you straight into Next Generation, right? Because not quite as hockey and outdated as the original series, right? Or I would have put you onto the movies that were based on the original series, right? The Shatner movies, because they had a budget, unlike the original series, which had a budget of, you know, whatever they found in couch cushions at Gene Roddenberry's house. I absolutely loved Next Generation, right? It was the one I grew up on. I watched it all the stinking time. I watched that whole series front to back, back to front. I watched it in reruns. It still, to me, is some of the best Star Trek ever made. The reason I think it still endures fairly well and holds up fairly well is it basically requires no major effects, right? It's all about the situations they find themselves in, and a lot of it is them talking through how they're going to solve the problem of, hey, we found this new alien species. They're having this problem. How do we fix it? You know, it is, to me, it is the sci-fi of the sci-fi series. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Dog Dad's in the chat saying he brought you around on Superman. He could do it on Star Trek. Here's what I would say, and especially since it has the wonderful Patrick Stewart as the lead,
yeah,
right? And who can dislike Patrick Stewart? It's Patrick Stewart. Yeah. Okay, go start on Next Gen. Do Star Trek: The Next Generation, right? Because in my opinion, it is the best of all the series. There will be people who will point you at Star Trek Voyager or Deep Space Nine, and those people are wrong. Not that there was anything wrong with either one of those shows, per se, but they were not as good as Next Generation. I'm sorry. Right? Yeah. No, do not do what Chad is saying and start with season 3. You got to start with season 1 because you got to learn about Q. Right? Encounter at Farpoint is critical to understanding the entire series of Star Trek: The Next Generation because it is the introduction of Q, who's the alien, and he's awesome.
Oh, okay. Oh, cool.
And that's why they did the whole Star Trek Picard reboot just recently, right? Because they were like, we need to continue this because Picard is awesome. That's who Patrick Stewart plays, Captain Jean-Luc Picard. We're gonna get the British guy to play the Frenchman, who's a starship captain. Okay. It was the late 80s. These things happened all the time. It's like in the original Mortal Kombat when we got Christopher Lambert to play Raiden, the Chinese thunder god. Let's get the white French guy to play the Chinese thunder god.
Oh, gosh.
Somebody's saying watch it counter for season 3. You know what, chat? I'm gonna do this because you're challenging me on this. So what was it about Strange New Worlds that you liked so much?
Well, it was one very, very pretty because they had a $7 million per episode budget. No, I I just really liked the storyline. Like, and it would catch me by surprise. Like, I would be really kind of caught up in the storyline, and then, for instance, I think season 2, like, there's an episode where his first officer, forgot her name, but like the whole episode is about like she's not supposed to be in Starfleet because she is a like modified human or something. I forgot the term of it. Man, chat's gonna hate me on this. And literally at the end, she's doing her like, log, her little, I don't want to say captain's log because she's not a captain, but like whatever, voice log. And she's like, when will it ever be enough for me to be myself? And I was like, damn, Star Trek, like shit. I was like, they just like sneak stuff in there where you're like, it really like got me like thinking. I was like, damn, that was a really good episode. I don't know, I just got like caught up in the plot. I do like the whole like, I mean, obviously I'm an engineer, so I do like space in general, but yeah.
Yeah, okay. I mean, that all makes sense to me. And now I'm going to start arguing with chat here for a minute because y'all went, don't watch season 1. All right. So season 1, episodes 1 and 2 is a counter. Farpoint, that's Q. Okay. So that's 2 episodes. The Naked Now, right? They find the USS. That's good, right? Season 1, episode 4, Code of Honor, also good. Season 1, episode 5, we get some Ferengi in there, which is great. I episode 6, they get catapulted a billion light years away. Like, there is a bunch of stuff. Episode 10, we have Q come back to give superhuman powers to Riker. Like, what are you thinking? Right? Like, there is so many good episodes in season 1 that I don't know why you would tell anybody to skip season 1. Like, season 1 is awesome. I'm saying don't use season 1 or 2 to judge it. Again, so here was the thing, and I had this conversation with somebody about Doctor Who. So let's talk about the revived Doctor Who. I'm not talking about the old black and white ones, I'm talking about the revived Doctor Who. Okay? The thing is, remember those first like 2-3 seasons on BBC, 4 seasons, they didn't have any money, right? It looks schlocky because they're doing their best with the very small budgets they have, right? And the thing that there's actually a part of me that misses the shitty sci-fi effects from the first 4 series of the rebooted Doctor Who, right? The very obviously, we put this together in a costume lab to get this stuff done because they're doing it with heart. They put so much heart into the story and into the writing and into the acting because they know they don't have any money. And I think a lot of these ones that have money, they lose sight of that. Chad, I'm talking about Christopher Eccleston, early Tennant, all the way to about 2 seasons into Matt Smith, right? Which is really when it fucking skyrocketed. It was about 2 seasons into Matt Smith, right? All those early seasons of Doctor Who, in the revitalized Doctor Who, again, I kind of miss the thing. So when I go look at old episodes of Next Generation, I'm going, dude, they made these in the 1980s on no budget, right? But they put so much heart into the stories that I love it a lot. Season 2, we get some more Q. I love Q. Q's awesome. So I would give Next Generation a try, Jay.
Okay.
Give it 5 episodes. If after 5, so I had to do this with my wife and Doctor Who. I was like, you got to give it 3, because you can't watch one episode and be like, this is terrible, right? Because it's just not enough. I love the early generation stuff again because they put a lot of heart into the show. Also, Troy's hair is so 1980s. It's great. Okay, there's some very 1980s stuff to it that I think is just wonderful. Okay, yeah. Q is not a goofy little guy. Q is like a god, man. I fell in love with Doctor Who with Matt Smith. A lot of people did. A lot of people came in during the Smith era and then went back and watched forward. I started watching in the Tennant era, but I did start with the Eccleston series for what it's worth. Right? So there you go. Did you ever go back and watch any Doctor Who, Jay?
I did a little bit, but I think like it was hard for me to get over that like first encounter. Like I watched some of the classic episodes, like Are You My Mommy? Like that one was really funny. Crap,
where the kids are wearing the gas masks.
Yeah.
Are you my mummy? Are you my mummy?
The stone angels that move every time when you like look away from them.
Yep.
So I watched like a little bit of it. I wouldn't mind like going back and like restarting Doctor Who.
Start with the Eccleston one. And again, my wife, she watched the first one initially, and what's fucking hilarious. She watched the first episode of the Eccleston run, right, which is when they restarted Doctor Who, right? And she went, we got done with the episode, and she was like, this is stupid. And I was like, give it 3 episodes. If after 3 episodes you don't ever want to watch it again, you don't ever have to watch it again, but you got to give me 3. And she said, okay. And by the end of the 3rd episode, she was like, fuck, give me the next episode. And then what's funny is she went back and watched that original episode that she thought was stupid, right? And she's like, what am I talking about? This episode's great. And I'm like, see? You just got to go in with the right open mind. Also, plastic. And anybody who watched that first episode with Eccleston will know what that means. All right, last chance chat. We got about, I don't know, probably about 10 more minutes before we're going to jump off here. If you guys have got any questions. Jay, you have any questions for me? Like, let's...
Questions. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really have a whole lot.
Yeah, it's been a weird week for news. I'm excited because we found out who the bad guy's going to be in the new Highlander reboot.
Ooh, okay.
Dave Bautista is going to play the Kurgan.
That is interesting.
Dave Bautista is going to fight Henry Cavill. It's going to be great. I can't wait. I can't wait to see this movie. There can be only one. Did you ever watch the original Highlander?
Yes, I did.
Okay. What were your thoughts on the original?
I loved it. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I've seen all of them.
I hope they rewrite the origin of the Immortals because that was really terrible. It was so bad. But seeing Henry Cavill and Dave Bautista fight each other, I think it's going to be fun. I think Dave Bautista is going to make a great Kurgan. I think Russell Crowe is going to make a great Ramirez. I'm made by the guy who made John Wick. Like, for a Highlander movie, let's go. Right? Like, yeah. Let's fucking go. This looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. They delayed Shrek 5 a year.
Wow.
Which gives me pause. I'm like, they really must not be coming together well. If they had to push it a full year. They must be going back to redo a bunch of that. Oh, and actually on the Abrams Trek, I I am not like most Star Trek fans. I actually enjoyed the Abrams Trek as a previous Star Trek fan, as somebody who enjoyed Star Trek. I liked his new take on it. I thought it was fun. Right?
Mhm.
I was like, okay, this is just a different visual style. It's a different style. But I love John Cho as Sulu. I love that one guy as oh god, Anton Yelchin, who played Chekhov, right? Yes, Captain. He was so good. Zoe Saldana as Ahura. Yeah, sorry, it was good. Abrams' Trek was fine. It was fine. What are we talking about?
I'm just like posting like Star Trek quotes.
Oh, you're just posting Star Trek quotes. Yeah, go back. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing the new Highlander. I think that's going to be good. I'm trying to remember if there was any other good movie news this week. I'm really trying to remember what was on there. Warner Brothers is having a great year. They have actually done something that no studio has done before. They have 6 films in a row that opened to more than $40 million at the box office. So congratulations, Warner Brothers. Right?
Wow.
And they've recast John Rambo for the new Rambo prequel. They're making a Rambo prequel.
I did not know that.
Yep.
Okay. I
Um,
thought the one was going to be it. Like I didn't think they were going to continue.
for anybody that's watched the K-pop Demon Hunters, or my daughter who has watched a lot of K-pop Demon Hunters, they're doing a sing-along version of K-pop Demon Hunters in theaters for a special weekend engagement. That's going to blow up for them. So congratulations to Netflix, because K-pop Demon Hunters has just exploded for them. The guy who made Weapons wants to make a DC movie. He's already on Warner Brothers' lot. Did you see Weapons, by the way?
I wanted to. I almost saw it this weekend. Yeah, I haven't gotten around to see it.
The Batman Part 2 has a start shoot date. Which means that not only does Gunn have the script, he's greenlit the script. They have a start shoot date for March of 2026. So I'll take that. I can't wait for that movie. Speaking of stuff we should have talked about during the Marvel segment, Josh Brolin has teased that Thanos might return in either Secret Wars or Doomsday, which could be interesting. Made famous by, the one that everybody brought up is, the panel I'm talking about where Doctor Doom kills him?
No. What?
So there's a famous comic panel from Secret Wars, from the Secret Wars thing. I'll bring it up in my browser view, where Thanos is like, I'm the great tyrant. I'm Thanos. Blah, blah, blah. And Doom's like, do you have the Infinity Gauntlet? He's like, no. He's like, hang on. And rips out Thanos' skeleton.
I have actually seen this on the internet. Yeah.
Okay. So here's my thing. I would love for them to bring back Thanos just to watch this happen on screen. During, like, Doomsday.
That would be pretty epic. I mean, Ice would get really mad because they would be like, but he's the good guy.
Oh, it's funny because it's true. But yeah, I would love to see that scene. I would love to see that on the big screen. Just watch Doom just rip his freaking chest out. I don't think there's anything else. Oh, AMC says they're going to reduce their number of ads before shows. Thank God. Thank you, AMC. Please just cut the Nicole Kidman ad. And shoot a new Coca-Cola commercial. Okay? I think that couple is adorable. It's a lovely little commercial. But seriously, I have watched them dance, race cars, stand in the rain. And what was the other thing? There was one other thing they do in that sequence, right? They start with the dance. right? Where they do the like choreographed dance. Then they race the car. And he's like, "Oh, here's your Coke." Like when they're standing in the like drama scene. Oh, and then they're sitting in the theater chairs.
The theater, yep.
All right.
Yep.
We need a new one. I think I've been seeing that commercial for 5 years now. Also, I already have my Coke by the time I see the commercial.
Yeah. It's another like commercial for the thing that you're already there doing. It doesn't really make sense.
Yeah, just like the Nicole Kidman one. The only one I want you to get rid of is Nicole Kidman. Okay? Just stop. Oh, Refresh Time Clock. Interesting. Trying to double check because they've actually been some new announcements for movie releases that I'm actually pretty excited about. I kind of want to go watch Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles this weekend. They're releasing the original in theaters again this weekend.
I did see that. I kind of do want to see that as well.
Such a good movie. Such a fun movie. What else? There was a couple. Jaws is re-releasing this year. I don't care about that. Spinal Tap 2, I'm excited about.
Wait, which one is that?
Spinal Tap. Remember the original? We dial it to 11. Why not just make it 10 and make it go that? But this one goes to 11. It's Rob Reiner, Christopher Guest, right? Yeah, they're bringing that back. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I've only gotten to September. Wow, that only takes me to September. Jesus. So, all right, Jay. Should we call it a night?
I think we should. Yeah, we've covered a lot. You know, we've covered Cheeto Man. We've covered Star Trek.
Somebody's asking, did you watch the Bruce Timm DC stuff?
The Bruce Timm DC stuff.
Yeah,
Bruce
he made a
Timm.
bunch of Batman the Animated Series, Batman Mask of the Phantasm.
Oh. Yes, I did. Yes, when I was a kid, I was obsessed with the Batman the Animated TV show, and I actually have some artwork from that, like some of the not like original artwork, but the artists that did a lot of the artwork for the Batman animated TV show did like some very classic sketches that I bought. So yes, this is like kind of, I would say probably like my first memory of like Batman.
Good.
The Batman animated TV show.
We need an episode to cover that. Yeah. I too was Batman the Animated Series, the original X-Men cartoon, the original Spider-Man cartoon, right? Like that was a golden age for comic book cartoons, right? I still remember my favorite episode of the original X-Men cartoon. I remember the title.
What was it?
Weapon X Lies in Videotape.
Hmm.
And it's all about like Wolverine trying to investigate his origin.
Oh, okay.
And then Beast goes with him, and it's like almost like a road trip thingy where him and Beast go find the lab where like Wolverine and Sabretooth and all those guys were like fucked with, right? It's a great episode. And the best episode of Batman the Animated Series was The Gray Ghost. And I will take no comments.
The Gray Ghost. Wasn't that like, hang on, wasn't that released in theaters?
No, you're thinking of Mask of the Phantasm.
That's it.
No, The Gray Ghost is the episode where it was like a radio drama that Bruce listened to when he was a kid, right? About this vigilante superhero, right?
Mm-hmm.
And some stuff starts happening in Gotham that reminds him of old episodes of The Gray Ghost. And so he goes and finds the actor who's now a down on his luck guy and like doesn't act anymore. And that guy's voiced by Adam West, which is the great irony of that episode, is Adam West as the voice of the Gray Ghost.
Mm.
who was our 1960s Batman. And him and Batman eventually in the episode, they team up to beat the bad guy, right? Who is basing his crimes on old Grey Ghost episodes. And that was my favorite episode of Batman the Animated Series.
Okay. There we go.
My wife yells at me. She's like, "How do you remember these things?" I'm like, "I don't know."
It's a core memory.
I'm like, "These are this is my childhood, just back before life sucked."
Yeah.
So, all right, Jay, say goodnight to the folks.
Have a lovely evening, everyone.
Once again, we will not be back on Thursday. If you missed any parts of the earlier part of the show because you weren't here because we did it on a weird night, it should be the live stream will be up on YouTube in about 6 minutes, so you can go back and watch the first half of the live stream. If you missed any pieces of it, you can go back and do it there. Thank you, folks, for joining us. I hope you all had a wonderful time, and we'll be back next week. Bye.
Bye.
Hey, where's the button?